looking into the phrase the new normal and applying it to speech codes theory. This theory was developed by Jerry Philipson. I am examining how the use of the phrase the new normal is implemented and comes and goes during global dramatic events such as COVID-19, 9/11, and the 2008 financial crisis. My thesis statement is the following. Within times of chaos and disorder, the world becomes reduced down to an algorithmic way of thinking and believing, where, according to David Panagia, power struggles tend to control individuals' normal lifestyles. When tragedy and disorder strike, either from a pandemic or a crash in a system, the new normal way of living and phrase appears because the power order takes on a new form and society does not know how to handle the power struggle. This means that speech codes theory encompasses not just what we say or do, but also what makes each group and culture intrinsically theirs, especially in times of unplanned turmoil during events such as COVID-19, 9/11, and the financial crisis of 2008, along with what it means for that person to be that person. With that being said, I am going to take the phrase the new normal, which represents position 3 of speech code theory, and connect it to what the implications of this phrase means to people and society during the COVID-19 pandemic, 9/11, and the 2008 financial crisis that will be used to examine the nuances of intercultural communication. Since Proposition 3 within speech code theory states a speech code implicates a culturally distinctive psychology, sociology, and rhetoric, along with speech code theory being grounded in the observation of communicative conduct in particular times and places, it seems appropriate to center the new normal around this proposition. I interviewed 3 individuals: Dr. Celeste Lab, a physical therapist, Mrs. Suzanne Dan, a first-grade teacher, and Father Jesus Martinez, a first-year priest who was in the seminary during COVID-19. The reason I conducted these interviews is because I wanted to see how these 3 individuals adapted their work environment during a recent global event, COVID-19, that happened. I also wanted to discover how this phrase, the new normal is in general made them feel, along with how they adapted to COVID-19 and how they stayed connected with family and friends during this time, since it was a recent event that transpired. The reason why I chose this topic is because I wanted to do something that centered around speech codes theory, because this is my favorite communication theory. I picked the phrase the new normal because I wanted to see how others felt about this phrase and what was said about this particular phrase. In a way, this paper was therapeutic for me to write about because I hate the phrase the new normal. I figured if I write about a topic I hate, my feelings would not change, but at least writing and conducting interviews regarding this phrase would become more familiar. The COVID-19 pandemic brought on a mask wearing. As I mentioned in my paper, I do not know why, but for some reason I found masks to look unfriendly, even though I knew there were friendly people who wore masks until too. It took me a bit to get used to people wearing masks. Intercultural communication is defined as various individuals from different backgrounds and viewpoints who tend to not get along and reach a common goal. Each culture and ethnicity have their own way of speaking, along with their own phrasing they use. Within speech codes theory, it is mentioned that communication does not only entail verbal and nonverbal communication, but the way each individual and culture dresses as well. Every item of clothing, along with every gesture, tells the listener a story that represents that individual and the culture and subculture that they are affiliated with. We live within a world where we encounter everyone from all walks of life. According to Jerry Philipson, ETL, speech code theory is an original theory of human communication as considered from a cultural perspective. Therefore, this theory is essential in order to learn how to live and go inside this world together. The first case of this new normal that I am going to discuss is COVID-19. After all, it was a recent global affair. The years that were required to mask wear and to social distance were followed by the established freedom that was felt all over when we were able to do things we were highly advised not to do when COVID-19 was at its highest peak. According to Gayatri ETL, the following statistics were recorded. Unprecedented events such as COVID-19 make one think about how short life really is and what can be done to make the most out of it. During the COVID-19 pandemic, there were several memes that were created in order to cope with all of these changes and uncertainties. The major switch from in-office and in-school working and learning to online working and learning was a challenge that we all had to learn to cope with. Working and learning from home was a stressful time that led to burnout and distractions because it deviated from the normal day-to-day routine. However, doing activities such as running, playing soccer, and riding a bike provided an outlet for everyone to escape from the madness of the uncertainties and anxieties. Going to retail stores and grocery stores meant stopping on stickers and waiting in lines to go inside. Aside from COVID-19, another major event that changed the whole trajectory was 9/11. The new normal was used because this is exactly what this tragedy brought. The crisis that took place in 2007 through 2008, the 2008 financial crisis, was said to coin the phrase the new normal. This crisis brought a major housing buyers and lenders turmoil that was caused by corruption from both ends. When it is all said and done, Dr. Celeste Lab said it well. We should be looking at humanity as a group, as a whole, instead of like an us versus them. It's us trying to be the best we can be and live as long and as healthy as we can. Our world is made up of human beings of all kinds and shapes. That is why we need to support and look out for one another through good times and bad times. Global crises such as COVID-19, 9/11, and the 2008 financial crisis allows us to see that through the hardships we are still able to overcome by showing resilience and human compassion. It is true that we are more alike than we are different. By examining and analyzing the phrase, the new normal, as it is a phrase that can be applied within speech codes theory, I am going to connect it to global events that created a collateral effect during and after the COVID-19 pandemic, 9/11, and the financial crisis of 2008. As Joey Phillipson reminds us, each person helps shape and form this world that we live in. We cannot do it alone. We cannot handle the new normals that this life throws our way on our own.